All right, people, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with black privilege. And in this video here, we're going to talk about The Flash, Season 2, Episode 4. This episode was pretty good, honestly. They didn't do a lot of, stopping the bad guy, but it seems more like a setup episode more than anything. During the whole plot line of the episode, for the most part, I thought they were going to get into the Harrison Wells situation, because I know last episode left off with him actually coming out of that, what do you call it? I can't think of it. But it's, I know he came out of the portal. I forget what they're calling it, but the hole to the other dimension. They came out of that, and I thought that he was going to show up in Star Labs, and they were going to actually interact with him and go through that whole, oh, I thought we stopped you thing, that I think that they're going to do eventually whenever he does meet up with them. But they didn't. He pretty much, for the most part, was missing throughout the whole episode. And it was them pretty much trying to figure out how to stop Professor Stein from, I'm assuming he was dying, because that's the reason why they were treating it. But since, I want to say, what's his name? Ronnie? Since his other half, Ronnie, got killed during the black hole, he's been kind of spazzing in and out with his powers and everything. And his body's pretty much like unstable. So they're trying to find a replacement to, so he can become Firestorm again. And they were pretty much running through of trying to just stabilize him and, finding another suitable candidate. And I think the other things that happened in the episode was, they finally had a sort of conclusion to Iris's mom's situation. And the reason why she's showing up now is because she's dying. And Iris is like, I don't want you to be a part of our life, yada, yada, yada. And I think even at the end of the episode, they actually found out that, Iris found out that her mom was pregnant when she left. So she's assuming that, she had a son that her dad doesn't know about. And I don't know if this is going to play in later. I was just talking about in my Arrow review episode about how characters in that tend to hold secrets, and they get mad at other characters for holding secrets. And it's like, come on. It's like, I'm tired of seeing that in TV shows, but I can understand why they do it, And in Flash, it's no different. Like, she kind of figures it out, but then she's like, oh, I'm not going to tell my dad. So at the end of the season, when he finds out, he's going to be like, you should have told me. It's kind of redundant. You could see it coming, but not a fan of that, because, that doesn't really do anything, but you have to have a reason for those characters to be in the show. So you have to have that kind of sort of stuff going on. I wish they'd have made it more on Joe's end than Iris's end, where it's like that thing that he's hiding that he has to deal with. Because I really like Joe as a character. I like that actor, even when he was in Law and Order and all of that. But to jump back to the Flash stuff, they didn't do a lot of superheroing in this episode. They pretty much was doing the whole Professor Stein thing, and it was pretty much a lot of backstory setting up the black guy that's going to be Firestorm. And I guess they're setting up his character for the other TV show they're making, Legends of Tomorrow. And this was a good episode to just kind of bridge the gap. It's like nothing really major happened during the episode, but it still had a little bit of character depth. They introduced another character into the scheme of things moving forward. And they also introduced a new bad guy that they kind of sort of stopped. But basically, I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's somebody from the comic books or if they just made him up. But he was like, he reminded me of, like, as soon as I seen him, because during the episode, just to have me lay it out, during the episode, while they were going through all of this stuff and Joe and Iris were going through her things, Joe's new partner was like, hey, look, I'm hearing reports of this people saying they being robbed and being killed by this shark man. And they're like, what, shark man? What the fuck are you smoking? Like, nobody believed her. So you thought it was all bullshit until like the last 5 minutes of the episode actually showed the shark man grab up Barry when he was the Flash talking about Professor Zoom sent me here to kill you. So it was kind of, I just didn't, I guess, I thought it was all bullshit because they never showed it. So when that happened, I just laughed and I was like, they actually brought a street shark on Flash. I really did enjoy that part, even though it was only like the last 5 minutes. But you had the alternate Harrison Wells. I guess during halfway in the episode, he stole some piece of equipment from that rival company that one woman he knows runs. I forget what the name of her company is because they mentioned it 2 or 3 times in last season and in previous episodes. But he stole some technology from her. They never showed you what he was doing with it, and then he popped up at the end with like this makeshift energy weapon and shot the shark guy. So it appears maybe he was following him through the portals to try to stop him, and Barry saw who he is. He recognized him obviously. And so I'm assuming they're going to hash all of that out in the next episode. And then that's something I can't wait to see, because I really did like Harrison Wells as a character. And I'm hoping that this alternate Harrison Wells actually stays on the show. Because like I said, I really did like his character when he was explaining helping the Flash and all of that. When they kind of sort of killed him at the end of season 1, I was like, it was like, I didn't like that, but I'm glad to see that they brought him back. And this was a good way to do it without damaging your continuity that you previously made in the last season. So I'm liking it a lot. Really can't wait to see where the series goes from here. Now that they know he's back. Also, I'm hoping Cisco actually gets his powers. Because for those of you who don't know, Cisco is a character that's in a comic book. I think it's called VOD. I mean, he has, actual powers and stuff. He's like a minor superhero. I don't know if they're going to do that in the show, but I'm hoping that they will, only because it'll flesh out the character. And then you got a whole nother superhero on the show rather than just the Flash. But if they do that, though, then you obviously want to, they would obviously want to keep the audience focused on the Flash, not the dynamic duo between Flash and Bob. So I don't know if they're going to, suit him up eventually, but I'm hoping that they eventually either suit him up eventually, or they kind of ease him in and just have him help out with his powers every now and then. I hope they do one of the two. This whole premonition thing of he's seeing the alternate dimension and stuff, and have him being scared of it. That whole plot line of him being scared of his, I don't know what you would call it, his premonition powers. It's just stupid. It's like, come on, you the one character on the show who would love to get powers, and they even mention it in this episode when they're trying to convince the new black guy to be Firestorm. It was like, yo, you're gonna have these powers, you're gonna be able to fly, and he's like, nope, I'm not having it. I don't want to be a superhero. And they even say Barry leapt at the chance to be a superhero, and then it was like, Cisco, would you want superpowers? And he was like, he said something funny where it was like, yes, it's like, me, yeah, sure. he will be on board for it. So now that you have him, you're scared of what you see. It's 2 polar opposite ideas that I just find stupid. And for him to be the one on the show who's like, fuck yeah, I want to be, I would want to be a superhero. To have him turn away superpowers or any form of power, or ability that, that you might get. It's just weird. It's weird and stupid, but it seems like it's something that they just throw into the writing to give him a secret to hide, And I think they even had a moment where Professor Stein actually told him in this episode, because I have a feeling Professor Stein isn't going to be on this season anymore. Or if he is, he might be an episode and that's it. But I think at the end of this episode, he left. So I'm assuming he's leaving for the whole Legends of Tomorrow TV show whenever they get that started. That's why they're taking him out. And he had a little thing with Cisco where he was talking about, hey, look, it's not good to hide this from your friends. You got to embrace it. He was giving the whole Professor Charles Xavier speech of having powers be a blessing and not a curse, And so I think eventually they'll get to the point where maybe even next episode where Cisco will actually tell him and it won't matter to him at all. But like I said, this episode, it wasn't like overly great and badass, but it didn't outright suck either. It wasn't bad. It was mediocre. It was like, okay, it's pushing the show forward. I wish that Flash would have fought the shark guy, and then stopped him and then have Harrison Wells shot him. That would have kind of made it an okay episode. That would have made it a good one, But to me, this episode was padding. It was filler. It was bland. It's not to say it was bad, but it's just for me personally, it was just kind of just, you know, pushing the barrel forward. You know, they didn't go outside the box to make it great, you know, and obviously I know they got to save the really good episodes for like the season premieres and stuff, but I just wish that they could carry the momentum that they had starting out, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Arrow and things like that. So, but anyway, those are just my thoughts on it. If you guys have any thoughts about this episode, about On the Flash, or about the Flash in general, like I said, I'm a huge comic book nerd at heart. I love talking about this stuff down in the comments. So if you guys want to debate, or if you feel like you have anything to say to me, let me know down there in the comments. My name is Denonu, the man with black privilege, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.